Ladies and gentlemen, it is Levi once again. In this video, we are going to be discussing the #1 marketing tool to help you sell your properties quickly. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and give it away. We're going to be talking about drone shots. I have a very nice slideshow presentation that we're going to go over. It's going to go over everything on how drone shots go and help you raise value, how you can even sell over market value just by having drone shots compared to your competitors. And I actually give a real life example of how I made an extra $3,000 over the next cheapest listing. Really, the only difference between my property and theirs was not the size or location, but just the fact that I had drone shots. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright guys, so now we're on the Google slide. I have the #1 marketing trick to sell land fast. And so of course, behind every slide, we're going to have a drone shot that Francis or I personally took. So guys, let's start with, why do drone shots matter? So, bird's eye view equals buyer clarity. You get more serious buyers, and in some cases you get people to buy without even needing to visit the property in person. For example, this property right here, you see that it's cleared, not a super weird shape, and in most cases you can see the neighborhood around you, right? So for example, if all a buyer needed to see was that you didn't have any weird neighbors or anything, a drone shot could easily solve that problem and get them to buy before they even visit the property. Also, you can show off features that satellite can't. So a great example of this property is that there is a fence right here. You can't see it, but it goes, pretty far back. But this fence would never be seen on satellite imaging, and this fence is a value add for the lot. Now, this is just an example from Regrid. When we went to go buy this property, we never knew that there was a fence right around this line right here. But when we had seen the property in person, we got surprised and we were happy about it. All right, so now we have boosting your listing quality. Better looking listings get more clicks and make your property stand out. And I have an example incoming. So these are two very similar listings in terms of the cover picture and even the price and size. They're located on different streets, but they're kind of in the same area. But nonetheless, the cover pictures, it's just like two plat maps on each listing. And the problem with these types of listings is that you don't really see what the property looks like, and generally when the plat map is the only picture, there's not going to be any pictures when you click on the listing. So imagine you're just like scrolling on Redfin or Zillow and these two listings pop up, and then you have this listing right here. It's a beautiful drone shot. It's marked out in a square. It says the size right here, has the street name. It's priced at pretty much the same amount. It's pretty much the same size in the same area. And now I have a question for you guys. Both properties are the same size, but which one would you click on first? So it should be obvious. On top of that, you will not be successful if you cannot stand out from the crowd. You need to be different than your competition. Sell the vision, not just the land. When you show the surrounding area, you sell the vision of what they can do with the property. Even if the property is still wooded, you're selling the full picture, not just a ground picture of a few trees. So guys, this is like what I was saying earlier. In some cases, when people can see the entire neighborhood, now this isn't the best shot because it's kind of hard to see this neighborhood as, the trees even go over the road. But in other cases, when you can see the entire neighborhood, you're selling the vision of what their life would look like when they buy this property. So like I said earlier, you just will not be successful if you're like everyone else. You need to make your listing stand out to get more clicks. Now, what does this have to do with drone shots? Now, here is a real life example of how our drone shots added $3,000 worth of value. And here's just a wire transfer that we got from a Wood County title company. The sale price was $14,000, but after a little bit of closing cost fees and taxes, we ended up with this amount, and we had paid about $2,700, including closing costs to buy this property, and sold this for $14K. Again, minus a few $100 in closing fees. And I want to point out that this property on Redfin sold for $11,000. It was on market at the same time we were selling our property, and it was the cheapest available property at the same time. So this was also in the city of Log Cabin. It was in the same subdivision, and this property was just down the street of the one that we sold. Again, this one's listed for $11,000 right here. Texas is a non-disclosed state. It could have sold for cheaper. but this was just the last listed price. And our lot was pretty much the exact same size. And so we sold ours in April 2025. Our property is the exact same size in the same subdivision. So how did we make $3,000 more and sell our property much faster? And the answer is drone shots. So you can see right here that this property was on market for about 10 months from July 7, 2024 to May 14, 2025. And it sucks because it was the cheapest property on the market and it took that long to sell. Meanwhile, ours sold for $3,000 more and in less than 2 months, only because our marketing was far more superior with the help of our drone. There's 3 ways to go about getting drone pictures. 1, you can hire a local drone photographer. So you can use Facebook groups, Craigslist, or Thumbtack. You can expect to pay maybe $75 to $150 depending on location and the shots needed. If you have to spend over $200, I would say probably just try to find someone else. You can ask for 3 to 5, just still drone shot pictures just like this, plus a short video clip like 15 to 60 seconds that you can use for, Facebook videos, your website, and the MLS if necessary. You have number 2, which is the obvious option to buy your own drone. The only reason that I say that this is optional is just because drones are very expensive, but the DJI Mini 4 Pro is our go-to drone. It's easy to fly. It literally dodges stuff if you're going to crash, and it has a super long battery life. So for example, on our last trip to Houston, we had pretty much 10 hours of driving, and we had 10 properties that we had to go to, and the drone pretty much lasted the entire time, just in terms of battery. But it pays for itself after just one deal. But this is why it's super expensive. You need to expect to pay around $1,500 after taxes and maybe getting a warranty. But they offer financing options, which is nice. Again, it's expensive, so that's why I didn't just state this as the obvious option, and I'm trying to give you guys, different options, because maybe it's your first deal, you don't want to go buy a drone yet, so you can just hire someone else to go get a shot for you. And number 3, use a company. Companies like Droner.io make things easy, as it's a website that specializes in drone photography, or more specifically, real estate photography. But there are many other websites, so just do your research to find the best one. But if you keep using a company, it is going to be by far the most expensive option over time, opposed to going and buying your drone for $1,500. If you pay a couple $100 for a company over the course of 10 times, you're spending, maybe $300. So yeah, this is why I wouldn't recommend using a company, but probably hiring, an independent contractor or just getting your own drone, because it will pay for itself. So when is the one situation where drone shots are not needed? And this is kind of a trick question, but it's really only if you find a buyer before you get the opportunity to even get a drone shot. But the problem with this is, if you are actually able to find a buyer merely off of just Google Street Pictures or just ground pictures from a listing you're just testing the market with, good job. But you want to keep in mind, marketing improves value so much, and that just means you probably took less money than what you could have gone for the property if you would have just gone drone shots sooner. So what am I trying to explain? If you had a drone shot there the entire time, you probably just could have made more money off of it. It's pretty much as simple as that, just because the drone shots improve marketing by so much. So what did we learn? Drone shot photos help to sell land faster, sell land for more, create more emotional listings, build trust with buyers, and stand out from the competition. It's one of the easiest ways to improve your business, especially if you're looking to scale, look more professional, and increase margins on your deals. So guys, if you enjoy the video, leave a like. If you have anything you want to learn in particular, leave a comment, and of course subscribe. I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day, and peace out.